All right, you guys, it's great to have you here. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. To begin, I guess we should tell a little bit of history and try to keep it the condensed version. I mean, I know you guys go back before 2016 when August Greene was kind of hatched. You guys have been friends and known each other for what, 25, 30 years. So maybe you can fill us in a little bit about how you all became friends, and then what was it 2 years ago that just kind of gave birth to this idea?
Yeah, well, I met Karriem in '95 when he was playing with Roy Hargrove, the late, great Roy Hargrove.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. In Chicago, I went to see them at the Jazz Showcase. Karriem recognized me, and I was like, wow, he knows who I am. We formed an incredible friendship, brotherhood since then. He's produced for me, he created like bands that I've went out and performed, and he's performed with me. And we've just been brothers ever since. I met Rob probably around 1998. I was working with an artist named Bilal, and Rob and Bilal were friends, and I just became friends with Rob through that. And at one point, Rob was actually coming to my house teaching me piano. It didn't work out. And since then we've been intertwined as as musicians and friends, and always just respected and loved music. And in 2016 they were producing my album called Black America Again, and it was just a sound that just, for me, even though they were producing for me, it was something that I'd never experienced as far as like creating. It just was a fun process / something new for me. And at one point it was suggested by somebody I worked with, a trainer that I worked with, man, y'all should be a group, man, because we were just bonding. It's just, the music just became so fun and just like such a new, fresh sound. That's where August Greene formed around that time. It was like a little birthday gig that we had. Not even a gig, we was having a birthday house. We had a session where we were recording and everything. And then it was just like, man, we should be August Greene. And that was the seed of it right there.
Yep.
So there was like a personal chemistry and musical chemistry that
Definitely
all came together.
Totally.
Yeah, there's
Maybe
a
a little
producer
bit of Chicago, a little bit of Houston, a little bit of Detroit, all kind of thrown in there.
Right. Definitely. There's a producer that inspires us that his name is Jay Dilla, and we actually met in Jay Dilla's basement in 1998.
Yep.
So that's how you officially met.
That's how we met.
how we met
We've been
officially,
all
yeah.
linked since
Oh,
around that
that's
time.
great. And didn't a Tribe Called Quest have a little something to do maybe with inspiring this idea?
No, I mean, I would say
Musically.
Tribe Called Quest has been inspiration. I probably could speak for all of us, but they could tell their story. Tribe has been one of the most influential groups for me ever. Q-Tip is still somebody I'm inspired by, and they group, is one of the reasons that I wanted to be an artist. So I guess they would have an indirect, connection to us. But what was y'all
Midnight
saying?
Marauders got me
Midnight
in. It
Marauders.
got me into hip hop.
Yeah.
Like Tribe Called Quest got me into hip hop. Just that, for that particular record, Midnight Marauders, it totally sold me on hip hop, and that's what made me like want to do it.
They influenced you and a lot of other people, like a whole generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So,
Like, I actually had the old school voicemail machines with the mini tape. I would change it every day with a song from Midnight Marauders.
Wow.
So when people call, I can introduce my friends to it who weren't into that.
And to be honest, like, for me, Tribe, I mean, these guys were already playing jazz, but Tribe really kind of introduced me to jazz because they were sampling a lot of jazz. And I mean, I heard some jazz, but not really. And because of them working with Ron Carter, the bassist Ron Carter, and just them sampling all type of jazz musicians, it was like I started to seek out more jazz. So in many ways, they connected us, But we respect them as one of the greatest groups to ever live, not just hip hop,
Of course.
just group.
Now, a lot of people wonder the name. Where does August Greene come from? There must be some deep kind of hidden meaning. There's a little Miles Davis thing, right? But otherwise,
Green?
No, it was actually no meaning. The word August and Green just sounded good together.
It's so funny. Everybody's like, I know it means something. Like, tell us what it is.
Yeah, they
The
be waiting.
secret code of.
They be waiting for some deep explanation,
Exactly.
but we ain't. We just like, look, it sound good, man. We like
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
August Greene.
We knew it would spark some kind of conversation.
Yeah. All right. So as far as the concept behind the record and the lyrics, it's sort of like, it's a combination, it seems like, that you're stepping back and just kind of looking at the world around you, but it's not just looking back, it's also looking forward, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
You can do a better job than me explaining that, but.
Yeah, but what would y'all say musically first? Because I think the music is where it starts for me, like, to be honest, so.
Yeah, I mean, even from the way we birth the music, we do it in a very organic, very jazz, coming from the jazz tradition way versus the hip hop tradition. So when we go in, it's very much we like to jam, and we like to play, and then we just stop on what feels good. You know what I mean? So, or sometimes what happens is Karriem will go in first to the studio, and come up with a bunch of drum beats, and then we'll all come in later and be like, "Ooh, you like that part?" And we're like that part? Okay, he'll take that. And then I'll go in and start playing keys, and they'll listen to what I'm doing, and then they'll be like, "Rob, what was that? Play that." Okay, we like that. You know what I mean? So, and that's literally how we come up with stuff, jamming, or doing it one by one like that, and being like, "We like that, we like that, we like that." You know what I mean? So it's a very organic approach musically that happens in real time, and we don't use samples. You know what I mean? There's no samples. So, in a way, it's very old school, but in a way, it's also very progressive to do so, because nobody makes hip hop records like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of both the way we do it. It's kind of paying homage to both worlds. You know?
And we all push each other to do the best. You know what I mean? These dudes push me. You know, so.
So where's the inside joke? Look, so easy on that. But I'll say, like, the thing that like, to be able to be in this, like, jazz world for me and hip hop is, like, for me is I think for us it's both worlds in the best spaces. They can be a lot of improv, a lot of organic, a lot of things. It's just like spur of the moment, and that's how you create, and that's how I write a lot. So to be actually in the studio and be with artists that are creating at that moment, it allows me to just be present as far as creating and not overthink, you know, some of the music, because I have a tendency sometimes to sit out and just think for a long time on music. But I think in the creation of August Greene, because they're creating right there, sometimes I just get thoughts, and then, you know, or Samora might come up with a chorus. Samora is one of the vocalists who appears on our album, and, you know, so it just leads us to. I always felt like the most freestyling when I'm doing it at, like, at a jazz event. I don't know why I feel that way. I think maybe because jazz never felt like it had a ceiling to me. It always felt like an infinite thing. And sometimes, you know, hip hop would want to box you in, but fortunately we've had artists that have broken that stigma and been like, look, I'm doing whatever I want to do. And I think that's what August Greene to me has provided. Like, when we create, we just go where we want to take it. Like, we have songs that are 9 or 10 minutes long, and then some that's just like an interlude that's like 2 minutes long. But it's like whatever thoughts and innovation comes, it's like the feeling of, Karriem said it before, it's like how James Brown, you know, used to just record, and it was a feeling in the studio. And I think, you know, that's what we capture when we go in, what the old musicians used to do, but also having new thoughts and new ideas.
Mm-hmm. So it's like the music makes you feel even more free when it comes to the lyric.
Yeah, for sure.
And then where you take it from there.
And then, you know, the concepts, look, it's a lot going on in the world. I don't like writing songs to make people sad, but I definitely will talk about things and see things. And fortunately, you know, within our progress as musicians and artists, I'm still in tune with people. So I'm still grounded with people. So I still want to reflect what I see going on. Also talk about my own issues. It's not just like me only watching. We also I'm talking about, like, things that I'm going through and experiencing and how I'm trying to grow. And I think, you know, what I found out when writing early on is when you tell some of your own personal stories, it really relates and connects to human beings of whatever nationality, color, you know, religion, and that can, you know, sometimes inspire people. So most importantly, we try to make music that feels good, that inspires, and it's just a good feeling. And whatever meaning it has to it, great, but it's all about, you know, creating the art that's pure.
But I think you also said in some interview that I read that, yes, it's inspiring, but it's about the power of people.
Yeah.
The power that people have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's when we talk about inspiration. To me, it's about empowering each other. Like saying, like this group is a example of empowerment. We all came to the table with our own like kingdoms in our own way. You know, like our own gifts and talents and lanes that we created. But at the same token, like once we connected, it was like, hey, this person, Rob, bring out the best out of all of us. Karriem bring out the best out of all of us. I bring out the best out of all of us, and we can know how to step back and know when to step forward. Know how to push each other forward, and just and be able to be honest. That's what growth is about. You got to grow. So that I think we represent the power of the people.
Even as musicians, what we're creating in the studio, we don't have to. So with most rappers, you have to be like, if we're jazz musicians, so we can a lot of times come up with something that we know a rapper's not gonna be able to rap over. It might be too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be too jazzy. It might be too
complex.
too complex, too this. It doesn't. It has to be a certain thing for rap. But with Common, it doesn't have to be like that. We literally can do anything we want, and he's fearless enough to try things, and he's not scared. You know what I mean? And and he's actually pretty good. You know what I mean? So it works out. It works out for you know what I mean. So we don't necessarily have a ceiling with anything. When we go in, we're free and we trust each other. That's the main thing too. Like when you have 3 people in a band that you seriously trust, then the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? There's not a weak link, or anything like that. So and there's no you can't do this, you can't do that. We can do whatever we want.
And it helps that we all love everything. Like every genre of music, it's a fusion of everything that we love. So that's all in the music.
Yeah.